vision possible for your life because you become what you believe.
Dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Machita number one, welcome back to it. It's exciting times with South Africa. Bafana Siyavena, Papa. We are in the semi-finals, and guess what? We'll be taking on Nigeria in the quarterfinals on Wednesday evening. But I can tell you, I'm as excited as you are. I'm as excited as any South African anywhere in the world. I am Mpixo.P, the greatest for Free State Online Network. And as per usual, Couch Dona is in the house. The man that predicted that we are definitely going to see the semi-finals. If we go all the way, we'll even go as far as seeing the finals. And tell you what, we are in the semi-finals with an amazing performance from Ronwen Williams. But before we just jump into introducing Couch Dona and talking to him, one of the headlining things as far as sports is concerned, Lewis Hamilton has been talk of town since last week, with all the speculations that he's moving to Ferrari from Mercedes-Benz. I think that's quite big. It's going to be very interesting. Ferrari was a car that everybody looked up to during the times of Michael Schumacher. Would Lewis Hamilton bring it back to the top? We don't know. We'll see. But interesting times it is. Ivory Coast, the host nation, have also made the semi-finals. Couch Dona, welcome to the show once again. The vendor predicted that we see the semi-finals. I'm quite excited. We had a good run though.
Yeah, no, we really did in Mpixo. Maybe I'll just start off by saying thanks for having me once again, Mpixo the greatest, and thank you to Free State Online for the opportunity as well.
Look, let's start it here before we jump on to the quarterfinals and then the semis. The 5 top big teams are out, in Morocco being number 1, Senegal being number 2, Tunisia being number 3, Algeria being number 4, and Egypt being number 5 out of the tournament. And you said when we started in the first show that this is the most average African Cup of Nations that is open for everyone.
Yeah, no, the playing field has been leveled, Mpixo. You understand. As far as training methods are concerned, every team and every country is exposed to the same level of training and quality of coaching, if we can put it like that. So it's up to the players, really. It's up to the hunger, the passion and the commitment of the players to come to the party on the day. But there are no teams who have more privileges than others, so which is what I believe contributed significantly towards the upsets and the shocks that we've been seeing, So every player, every team, they're exposed to the same level of coaching, more or less, and training methods. So that's why the level is up there for the so-called teams that cause the upsets. So.
But let's talk this 5 teams. Did you maybe, with that being said, did you expect for any of this top 5 to make it all the way to the semis? Maybe should we be talking one of these teams in the semis, or you expected this might happen?
To be honest, there's no football person with a sober mind who can say they did it, they expected all of this to happen, you understand? And I think as far as rankings are concerned, the biggest upset will have to be Morocco. If there's a team that was expected to go all the way based on their performance, especially in the World Cup, they are the number 1 ranked team in Africa. I think almost top 10 or top 20 in the world. Morocco was the biggest upset, honestly. Even from a Bafana perspective and standard, I did say we are going to beat them, but it does count as an upset. So Morocco, I believe they were the one team that should have went all the way. So
listen, let's look at the quarters and just reflect a little bit. You know what? Fire, the game we watched between Cape Verde as well as South Africa. But overall, watching the quarterfinals, because they make up what we are about to see in the semis and the final. What was your most exciting moment? I know it's Bafana, but was there any other game except the Bafana one that quite caught your attention?
You know, I think we can't ignore the rise of Ivory Coast, especially
Portugal vibes in the 2020.
just after
Euros.
the group stage scare. You know,
yeah.
I think we can say they've risen from the dead. They got a big scare because they qualified, I think, as the last best number 3.
Yeah.
So that's a team that got a scare, and since then they've been winning. They've really been playing well. You know, they've even been playing up to on a high level, but I think that's that one team that we can say they should have been knocked out in the group stages, and they've really been coming to the party, because even the game that they won, they literally scored on the last kick of the match.
Had to come back.
It was extra time, and the very last kick of the match, Fofana there gambling, and then that I forgot that other players, they moved the deflection, game down. So I think that was the one quarterfinal that shocked many people. You understand? Yeah, the Ivory Coast one was quite a big one.
DRC Congo continuing to I think that's a silent horse, you know, running next to everybody and nobody wants to talk about them.
Yeah, DR Congo, it's actually surprising that nobody is talking about them, you know. And if you check at their score lines, they've been quite convincing. Even the margin that they won by 3-1, if I'm not mistaken, and that shows from a knockout stage perspective that they are a team that is not short on goals. They are getting the goals, they are getting the results. So they are definitely a dark horse, and a team that we need to look at. We cannot ignore. We cannot ignore it.
Coach Dona, with that being said, we cannot ignore it. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we are definitely looking into the 4 that we are going into the semi-finals with Bafana in there. I don't know what's your prediction, but you have to tell me what's your prediction in the comment section. Don't be shy. Are we seeing the final? Are we not? Who are we playing in the final with? If we are off to a break, we are coming back. Welcome back to the show, and we still have Coach Dona. Listen, a big blow was dealt, with South Africa, with one of our most exciting player getting a hamstring injury there, with most likely a possibility, a very high possibility of us not being able to see our super sub on Wednesday.
Yeah, Maseko, you know, after he made that run and he started limping as a footballer, not even as a coach, as a footballer, I knew that was a serious injury. You know, to pull a hamstring when you are chasing a ball, immediately when a player stops while they are chasing the ball like that, you must know that it's a serious injury. And I really hope that we can be able to have him, even if it's not for the semi-final. At least if he can recover just on time for the finals, I would be most happy, because he's been crucial from the bench. So he's a player that we will definitely need, and if he doesn't make it, then he is a loss. He's a loss.
Let's look at the players that we have on the bench that can come in and quite, close up the gap. We saw Mayambela also coming in there, played very well, if I may put it that way. Who else can come in and close up that gap?
Judging from the subs that were made in the quarterfinal in Mpixo, we speak of Tapelo, of which he is out now. We saw Mihlali Mayambela come on. We saw young Adams from Stellenbosch come on as well, So I think Hugo Bruce's tactical approach this time around would be to try and drag Tembazwani and Tapelo Morena as long as possible before making a sub, and then if needs be, then I think he will still stick to the approach of Mihlali Mayambela will be the next first sub, and then Adams, then Lepasa will be able to come on. But obviously, you cannot predict substitutions, you understand? It depends how the game goes, then tactically, Hugo Bruce will have to make a decision. But the first sub will definitely, if he does not start, then Mayambela will be the first sub.
Look, we also have to look at the possibility of penalties and extra time, and Williams was a key component, you know, in the last game. Stopped 4, amazing work, brilliant. He looked like he knew what he was doing, you know, moved with confidence to stop all 4 penalties. Is he still the man that we're going to definitely look at, or we still also need to work on making sure that we also convert those penalties while he's stopping those penalties?
Mpixo, you just mentioned something. You just said he looked like he knew what he was doing, and he really did, because there's a clip that was played on the socials where Ronwen asked the analysis team, the technical team, where is number 6 going? And then the technical team told him that number 6 is going to the left.
To the left, yeah.
So that speaks of the quality of the analysis of Bafana. So it means that they have been analyzing opposition, they have been analyzing the possibility of penalties, and credit to the analysis team. I know that the head of analysis is a gentleman by the name of Sinesipho Mali. So he's been doing an incredible job. So we have to credit the people who are working behind the scenes, helping with such things. So Ronwen will obviously be crucial again, but it is also equally important that we convert our penalties, because like I said, penalties are a lottery. You practice for them. It is not to say that Ronwen won't save them, but we might not be as lucky as we were in the quarterfinals. So we have to make sure that we convert our penalties as well. If he doesn't make the saves, we have to score our penalties.
How far would you want for us to go in terms of this game? Should we also bank on going extra time and penalties, or we should just, you know, work on wrapping it up within the 90 minutes?
Mpixo, as a football coach, I do not like penalties. Penalties are part of the game, yes, but if we can wrap it up in the 90, we should. Because the minute we step into extra time and we head to penalties, it really can become anyone's game. You understand? So, again, as a patriot, and I'm not biased, the results have proved that South Africa is able and capable. We have the attacking arsenal that can wrap it up in 90 minutes, and those small chances that we get, we need to bury them, and in 90 minutes we should be able to beat Nigeria.
We should be able to beat Nigeria in 90 minutes, but you know what? I still worry about our players that are given a tough time. Like Themba Zwane now is really a target. You could see he doesn't move as freely, but you also have Sithole, who's very supportive in the middle of the park. What do we expect from these players that have raised their hands and they are like more of targets for our opponents?
You know, the nice thing about our midfield in Mpixo, and it's actually a little bit of a topic of opinions and controversy, because there are many South Africans who are not seeing the impact and the value of a player like Yaya Toure, of which some of us, for me personally, I think he's been immense, he's been incredible. His work rate, especially off the ball, has been immense, you know. So what I've realized that's been happening, Themba Zwane got 2 consecutive man of the matches and he was targeted. But that freed up Tebogo Mokoena, because Yaya Toure has been doing the dirty work. He's been cleaning up there in the midfield. People are not noticing, and that has been freeing up Tebogo Mokoena more. So Themba Zwane, his quality. He's not a player that you can contain for a full 90 minutes. The only thing about Themba is that the coach plays him conservatively because of his age and his legs. You know, he gets tired here and there. After about 60-65, he gets tired. But I'm telling you, that combination has been doing wonders for us, and it needs to stay like that. They won't be able to contain all 3 of them at the same time.
That's for sure, Coach. And let's close it up real quick, Coach. Your prediction, who do you see in the final? The 2 teams that will watch in the final on Sunday.
I'm gonna have to go with Bafana, obviously, and Ivory Coast. As much as DR Congo is a dark horse, I'm gonna go with the hosts. from a South African perspective, it would be nice to play against the hosts in the final. So I'm excited for that final. I want it to happen like that.
I definitely also want it to happen like that. I can imagine that stadium fully packed.
Sure.
Bafana and winners the AFCON, you know,
Sure.
against the Ivorians.
Yes.
That would be quite big. But we also did one better for our viewers at home. We ran a competition on the Free State Online Network page, and 200 rands airtime. Listen, if you participated, the winner's name is on the screen. Check that out, and that will be you for sure. But for now, let's close it up. And as always, I wouldn't close it without saying these words: to whom much is given, much is expected, and to whom much is expected, much is required. Every champion that is a champion today was once a contender who refused to give up. I'm Mpixo.P, the greatest for Free State Online Network. God willing, I'll see you next time.